Awesome.
All right, guys, so we'll get started. So this probably will be within an hour, I guess. So I think the goal here is just to get you familiar with the platform TutorOcean, seeing as it is a new initiative for us. So a bit of a background about the program. This is a startup company coming out of Ottawa, and they reached out to us over the summer months, introducing their platform. They've already got a couple universities and colleges in the province that are on board with TutorOcean. So seeing as how it's new, we just want to get everybody on the same page, show you guys how the platform works, and then answer any questions in person if you guys have any with respect to building your tutoring account, and then some of the logistics that we've been working through since we got access to the platform. So we had access to this, I want to say the 16th of September, and then over the last couple of weeks, we've been just working with TutorOcean in order to tailor the service a little bit more to our needs. A big piece for us, and one of the reasons why we kind of had this a little bit later than we wanted to, was because they had to put the French translation in there for Laurentian, seeing as how we're a bilingual institution. So still working with the translation on a couple of things, but this will be fluently bilingual over the next couple of days once we've kind of ironed out some of those kinks. So my name is Jason Scott Benoit. I'm a coordinator here at the CAE with the Office of Transitions and Engagement. So I've been communicating with a lot of you via email to set up sessions, put you in touch with some students, and then obviously introduce the platform here. This is my colleague Anthony. I'll let him introduce himself because he's got a lot of information under his email signature. So I'll let him tell you guys what he's doing and what he'll be doing with us here.
So we've been talking a little bit as you guys kind of came in, but again, my name is Anthony Ferrugia. I graduated from chemical engineering in 2018, so I've been a year out of school now. I just came back, signed a contract with the physics department, as I was saying, so I do work at Snow Lab. I'm here on contract for that, but I'm also appointed as the tutoring coordinator, the program coordinator now, so I'll be working very closely with a lot of you guys. Both Jason and I monitor the tutoringalertion.ca account, so if you come through there, more so after the platform kind of takes hold, during the transition, it's been kind of like, he's been communicating mostly, but I think once the platform is fully underway, the student load kind of coming through that address will be a lot smaller, and we'll be using it mostly just to communicate with you guys as our team. So you'll be hearing a lot more from me on that level, kind of moving forward, and hopefully we get a chance to really start to communicate and work together well. So, yeah. Okay. So, awesome. So to go through the agenda, see things first here. What I wanted to do is kind of go around the room first and just kind of like hear a little bit about how long you guys have been tutoring, kind of like feels about the program, things you guys want to see this year, anything you guys really want to share with us, just to kind of like get to know each other a little bit. Once we do that, we're going to go more into TutorOcean, and we're going to actually see like the platform. I got a short demo video that's going to kind of play, and then we're going to talk about the features and how we hope to use it this year. After that, we're going to talk about your onboarding. So the processes you guys need to go through, either to create your student profile, like your tutor profiles, if you want to do, varsity advantage programs. So if you're tutoring like athletes and you need to be paid through the university, we're going to talk about those processes. We're going to talk about the student onboarding and what they need to do to get in touch with you. So if you have questions from your students, it's easy for you guys to answer those as well. And then we're going to kind of conclude with the marketing outreach, which is ours, but just to show you a little bit about what's going on behind the scenes to support you guys. And then also the value of the platform and what it's going to kind of add and bring to the table as a program. So, and afterwards, it's just the conclusions, but that's just how you guys get a hold of us and that type of information. Okay. So I think maybe we'll go around the room.
Yeah,
this is I created a bit of a survey, okay, online, so we'll send this presentation around afterwards so everyone has access to it, and you can just scan the QR code with your phone. It'll take you to a short survey online. It just asks you for basically, a little bit of your tutoring history, how many students you see per week, that kind of stuff, just to kind of get a feel for where the demographic is. And then also a little bit about the platform, the training that you guys have had thus far, because I know there are some gaps. Maybe we haven't been communicating, or in previous years you haven't like really been told the whole picture. So that's going to let us know kind of like the training you have, what you are and are not aware of, and then there's comments and feedback at the bottom. So if we miss anything, or if you have a question that maybe wasn't in the survey or anything like that, you could write it in there or email us again afterwards, and that'll really give us a chance to target your specific concerns. Okay, so that's us two. Maybe we'll go around the room. Want to start?
Me?
Yeah, one of you.
Oh, sure. Hi, my name is Shrieker. I'm a fourth year mechanical engineering student, and this will be my first year tutoring, so I'm really looking forward to helping other students.
Awesome. I'm Jacob. This will be my second year tutoring for the school, third year tutoring. I'm a fourth year chemical engineer. And yeah, that's I enjoy doing it to keep up with knowledge of the past years, I hopefully make my master's, and
Oh, cool.
so it helps me keep up.
Yeah.
My name
Okay.
is Kiera. I'm in fourth year Coned and Bio. So I tutor mostly chemistry and biology, but mostly chemistry in the past was a chemistry class leader. So I did that program and then tutored after that and tutored partially before that. So this is my third year tutoring.
Cool. Thanks.
Hi, my name is Lilian. I am a master student, Master Science of Geology. So this is the third year for me to be a tutor.
Very good, thanks.
My name is Vivian. It's my third year in the DPH and my second year for tutoring.
Are you French language
Yes.
first? Okay.
You tutor like both languages too, right? So I think I put you in contact with a student for like first year psych and English.
Yes.
Yep, cool. Good.
That's awesome. Yeah, like it's interesting to see because I know we have some first timers as the first year, and then we have some of you who've been around for many years, and like that's quite interesting actually, even a grad student, which is cool.
Yeah,
Just
and
to
then we
see.
have Thomas tuned in.
Ah,
So
Perfect. Yes, let's keep him.
Thomas, I'm not sure if I'll mispronounce your last name, Carone. So Thomas is a transfer student from York University and currently enrolled in sports psychology, first year tutoring, and very passionate about teaching. So that's Thomas online via Zoom.
Cool. Thank you for joining with us, Tom. Thomas. Okay. Thank you for joining with us, Thomas. That's awesome. Okay, so do the QR code survey when you're done. It'll just give us kind of chance to just get the information in writing, and then anyone else who missed the session today, they'll get the same gist of it, and then give feedback and stuff there. So, all right. So jumping right into the platform. So we know previous years has been kind of disorganized. This is going to really, really help with that. We're really excited about the launch and like really kind of getting things going with it. So this is a short 1-minute clip that's going to just kind of give you an idea of what it'll look like to the public's perspective, and then we're going to dive into the behind the scenes, how the function will be about from our point actually using it for the students. Okay.
And one thing too, the platform can allow us to do is also track the amount of sessions that the university is actually putting through with tutoring. So in the past, basically it was whoever was answering the email was putting students in contact via email. And we never really knew how many sessions tutors were actually offering, how effective those sessions were on behalf of the student. So now once you're completing your session, both the tutor and the student will be able to provide feedback. And for a university perspective, it'll allow us to track this information and see whether or not the university can start investing funds in making this a service where students no longer have to pay out of pocket. So that's really the main goal, is so we can send this data kind of upstairs, we'll say, to see whether or not this is a program like the others, like writing assistance, which is free for students. So those are all programs that are funded, and tutoring isn't one of them. So that's really our goal at the end of the day, is to build this database of stats in order to kind of offer the service and better the service going forward.
Yeah.
Oh, geez.
Gotta play the video.
I tried. How do I play it?
Click on it.
I did. It gives me that.
Oh,
Let me
here's
just,
actually presentation mode.
Yeah, I'll try that. There we go.
Just clicking on it working.
No.
Okay, I'm gonna send you the.
That's a bit like
I'm gonna send you the.
So I guess in the meantime, while we wait for that, I'll share this page here, and this is going to show us a little bit more. Oh, okay, I gotta do it through Zoom. A little bit more in detail how it's going to work for you as tutors, and you guys can do this now because the platform allows you to do online tutoring. You guys can have sessions like this.
Oh yeah, awesome. I forgot where that was.
So obviously, if you're in person, you might not be using this platform, though you still could if you really wanted to be side by side. So me being the tutee at the bottom right corner, Anthony being the tutor. If you guys want to have your webcams lit up, you guys can do that. Over here will be your whiteboard. So your whiteboard will allow you to put any kind of fonts, any kinds of colors. If you're tutoring math or anything, you want to write formulas, you can write. I don't even know what else we can do there, but. So if you have like a pencil or like a stylus, then that would obviously be a little bit easier. And then you can go into your text editor. And this here, you can actually go and create as many windows as you want. It's lagging a little bit because we have the Zoom platform open. So it's taking a lot of bandwidth here, but
Yeah.
Essentially you can open as many pages as you want in your whiteboard. And if you go into your text editor, you can basically do the same thing, but you're typing. Wow, what's going on here? Oh, that's why. Sorry, I got this window open. All right, here we go. Oops, tutors in French. You got me, eh, Vivian? So you can set that up like that. I just have so many windows here going on right now. You can set your fonts, you can bold, you can do your colors. And then at the end of it all, if you go back into your whiteboard, you can actually extract these. So the tutor and the student can basically download all of their pages. So you export your whiteboard, you can export your text editor. So for a student, this will allow them to collect the notes that you've shared during your session. So if I were to go yes or okay, it would basically download everything on my computer as one file format. So you can see it down here. And then the student can open it up. It'll have all the whiteboards that you've shared, all the text editor pages that you've shared. And even if you wanted to insert your own documents and share a photo, or if you have notes that you've already written up, you want to take a picture of that and export it or insert it into your session, you can do that as well through this function. You ready for the video?
Yeah, I'm emailing you the PowerPoint, so then we can load that up and then take it over. Yeah, and the features you guys are seeing today too, like a lot of it's still like in progress. We're trying to get them to include like features like video replay, so if the student could actually replay the session afterwards if they wanted to, and like keep content that way. Or anyways, just a list of features that are kind of gonna be added to it as we go. So you'll get updates as we kind of make changes, because the policies, as far as like you see them kind of throughout this presentation, the stuff we're telling you now is like also still under development over the next couple months. So you'll get regular updates from either myself or Jason, and kind of like keep you guys as up to date as possible. So okay, let's see, you get this video. I'm sending you the slideshow. It has a link built in. I can't export the link for whatever reason. I can't just access
like
it.
YouTube. Where'd you find it from?
I literally searched TutorOcean and like
On YouTube?
no, it was on Vimeo, I think.
Oh, okay.
If you want to look it up, I just sent you the PowerPoint though. So if you open the PowerPoint, it's embedded in it. It'll be in there.
You sent me via email?
Yeah. Okay. Anyways, let me open up. I'll open up the. So you can actually disable your camera features too. Things like microphone, if you, for whatever reason, are getting feedback and the student's trying to talk and you can't hear them, you can disable microphone. You can disable your video like I did. I turned it off because I wasn't actually on the platform. I didn't want you guys getting weird angles of my face. So I turned it off. But yeah, there you go. Popped it back up. So you can do screenshots too, these little camera icons here. I'm pointing at it on my screen, but these little guys, you can actually take snapshots of it in case you don't want to export the whole file and just want to take a picture of what's going on. I particularly like the page features because in the years that I was tutoring, the students always love to keep the notes that you make during the sessions, right? So that's actually really valuable because instead of like having to erase it and only having one screen, you can just finish one note or finish a problem and then create another page. The student at the end doesn't lose whatever you wrote. They're not trying to scribble it down like frantically. They can just keep whatever you've recorded, either the walkthrough, whatever it is. So that's really important. Yeah. So so because like I've been a tutor as well, as we've been kind of using the platform and developing it, I've been taking notes about things that could be added, things that could be improved just from like your guys' perspective, because I've been on that side of the desk, you know, so I kind of have an idea of what the students look for, just to make it as user-friendly for them, but also for you. So as you're using it, we're getting access now for demo accounts, so you guys can actually play with it before your first session, so you don't have to just like try to figure it out for the first time when you're doing it. And to clarify, as great as the video service is, this kind of loops in people that maybe are doing distance education. So if they're not on campus and they're online, they can still access your services. It's like, yeah, well, that was pretty much the target of that. But like, even if you're at home in bed one day, you don't want to come in, you can, if the student has the capability, like you can do it from home, you don't have to come to campus. So that's beautiful about this, but it doesn't negate the ability for you to still meet with the student in person and just do it on the side, right? So it kind of incorporates all those features and just broadens our horizons as opposed to limiting us anyway. So, yeah.
I don't know how to open your video from your slide.
Okay, click off this. Are you on? Oh no, that's the thing. Go to PowerPoint.
And there.
This is on. Oh, you have to open it. You're opening it in Google Docs. You have to, or Google Slides. You have to open it as a PowerPoint, I think. Otherwise, just search Vimeo.
That's what I was going to get some here.
Yeah. Oh, you'd have to download it. You know, I just search Vimeo. Perfect. Just search TutorOcean. I feel like that would come up.
Basic Vimeo.
Sure.
Do you have an
Okay.
account for this?
No, I don't. I just accessed it. I just searched TutorOcean Vimeo, Google that, and then it should pop up. It's crazy. Well, there you go, too. Apparently, when you embed a link into a PowerPoint and then put it onto a Google slide, doesn't like that. It doesn't carry it over. It's okay. First time for everything. The survey was also that. Okay, beautiful. Okay, it's like a short 60-second clip. So it won't take very long, but it'll just give you the features as far as like a little more detail than what we did. And then when you get a chance to play around with it later, like so you have to have your tutor account set up in order for us to be able to give you a demo. But once you actually have the demo, you'll have a couple hours, you can just go through, play with it. Like you won't need that much. The features aren't complicated. They're designed to be like friendly to you guys, but it'll give you an idea of what you like to do. Because like, for example, like I can't write with my tracker pad. It's too small. So like I got a stylus on the side and like I actually have like another device now that I use to make my notes. So that made it easier, and those aren't too expensive from like Staples or you want to pick them up. So you kind of like see if there's things that you want to use, or like there's also the ability that I think there was the ability to use like a second camera if you needed to, if you wanted to like share notes that you were scribbling or whatever. So those kinds of services will like, you'll figure out, each tutor will kind of figure out their own style, what they kind of want to do.
You have full access to global marketing people who are ready to empower you with the knowledge. The TutorOcean online marketplace. You can excel as a tutor or a student. Whether you're a hard-working professional or a bright, attentive student, you can spread knowledge on what people really like to know. Sign up is absolutely free for tutors and students. And once you're registered, you have full access to global marketplace people who are ready to empower you with the knowledge you need to achieve. TutorOcean's online classroom is where such exchange of knowledge happens. As it defies temporal and spatial boundaries, it provides tutors and students around the world with convenience and flexibility in teaching and learning. Its intuitive features such as whiteboarding, text editor, code editor, file sharing, and more enable tutors and students to interact in real time. TutorOcean can also arrange in-person sessions and fosters hands-on engagement, which is a good way to learn, retain, and master complex skills. TutorOcean makes teaching and learning easy and effective. So, what will you teach or learn today?
That's Matt, by the way. Okay, yeah, the guy you saw the other day, he's Matt, he's our contact. He's like, I guess the co-founder of TutorOcean. So we work very closely with him. So any troubleshooting stuff that we can't answer, like we actually also have a very good relationship with their team, and they're very supportive. So like they're constantly updating features that we think are important, or just changes that we want to make, or just preferences even. They're always kind of fixing stuff for us. So there's a lot of support. If you have questions, concerns, anything about that, just hit us an email and like we'll take care of it. It won't be an issue. So okay. All right. Note to self, videos are hard to play in this type of
Because
system.
they got like a couple things. We still have that live session going on in the background too.
Yes,
So it's taking up
yes.
time.
Okay, so we're gonna jump right into it. I wanna start talking about the actual features and like your guys' role, because I think you get the gist of what the platform's trying to like show us basically what the functions are gonna be. So let's talk about our training resources here. Okay, so policies and requirements. This is something interesting. How many of you guys have actually seen, read through, and acknowledged the tutoring policies?
It would have been the same from the teacher.
Yeah, they've been the same for a long time, so they're changing this year.
I have it this year, unless it was on like the D2L training that they made us do last year.
Yes. Okay. I don't know if it should be like an annual acknowledgement, but yeah. Okay. So sorry. Has anyone not seen the tutoring policies? You seen them? Yeah. You seen them? You seen them?
Yeah.
Okay. So everyone's actually seen them. Okay. Good. Because there was some concerns that there were gaps, because in the tutoring like D2L program, like you have to click and then go to a Google form, I guess would be, yeah, to acknowledge the docs, like the actual like policies and stuff. But they're, let's just say, not the most organized, because they haven't been updated in a very long time, right? So some of the stuff is out of date, some of the stuff has been adjusted, and a lot of them aren't being enforced, which makes it hard for you guys to even know what is and isn't valid still, because you don't even have someone to show it to. Like I remember when I was tutoring, literally, like I read the policies, like, okay, you're supposed to keep records, you're supposed to do things, okay? So I would keep the records, I'd write the forms, and I had the templates for it. And then I go to hand it in, they're like, you don't have to do that. I'm like, oh, okay, well, I thought I did. It said online I was supposed to, so I would go with it. So these policies are being updated, okay? So we're gonna have a written, revised version now that's not only gonna be up to date, because I'm writing it currently, but it's also going to have anything to do with the TutorOcean platform. So any of the new changes, any of the new liabilities, stuff like that, that's all going to be in there, and we're going to get everyone to re-acknowledge, okay? So it's not there now. If you created your tutoring like account or your profile already, we'll have to send you a notification and you'll do it separately. But from now on, any tutor that joins the platform is going to be prompted to acknowledge the policies, okay? So they'll get to read through it, they'll get to see what their responsibilities are. And not only that, but we're also going to enforce it as something the students also have to do, okay? Because there's a lot of stuff in there that it's good for the students to know as far as what their responsibilities are with respect, coming prepared, like timeliness and punctuality, right? And it kind of gets forgotten when the relationship is like so informal, you know what I mean? So we're going to impose that to make sure that kind of everyone understands what's expected of them, the relationship is professional, and that we're kind of able to do that. So we'll send that around. There's going to be a few different things. So there's 2 different versions of the policies, okay? There's the general version, which is eligible for you guys and then most students, and then there's the varsity version, which is, have you seen those? So I know you said you have some varsity athletes. Okay, so the varsity policies, which is for student athletes and then for tutors who are on Laurentian's payroll, basically. They claim hourly because the varsity students have their sessions covered, okay? So basically those policies are gonna be automated, okay? So we'll send them around to you guys. Everything that I talk about, by the way, today, the policies, any of the templates or stuff like that, I'm gonna put in a drive and invite the entire tutor base to it so you can see any of that resources and you'll have them available to you, okay? It's part of the resources of this section. I'll make sure everything's kind of in your hands. So basically what the system is going to do is it's going to allow us to automate when you are and are not required to acknowledge a policy. So if you do end up working with a varsity student, they'll be tagged as a varsity student on our profile. And so when they try to book a session with you, it'll give you a notice and be like, hey, this is a varsity student. So if you intend to tutor this person, if you, whatever, here's the policies you need to be aware of. Here's the processes you need to be aware of. And this is kind of what you need to do to get started with that student. Okay. So at this point, I think just in the running, the basics will be that you'll get a notification, and then the rest of the behind the scenes stuff we're going to do manually until it's fully automated on the system, because we have to, like, it has to be programmed, obviously. So that's in transition, but that'll kind of take the burden off you guys, and we just want to make sure you have all the information, you understand what to be aware of. Okay. So yeah, as far as requirements, how many of you guys keep records of your session or document your stuff in any way?
Yes, but I don't know what I'm doing at all.
No? Okay.
Yeah, like, because some of the stuff is on D12 and then I never got feedback from it last year, so I just kind of keep record until I get asked you guys
Yeah.
today.
Yeah, well, good for you. Does anyone else have that same, like, frustration?
I feel like the first couple months, and then it was kind of the same situation as you.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and
no one's
we don't
asking
collect
for it,
them.
so-
Like, no one's been collecting them to this point anyway, so it is pointless. Like, when I started 5 years ago, they would take the sheets. I remember there was actually, the woman had an office here, and then they eliminated her position. I don't know what happened, but she wasn't around anymore. She's the only one that ever collected them, and after that, it was always a student run position. Like, the tutoring coordinator was always a student, and the student didn't have time to read through all those forms and stuff. It was like a 10-hour-a-week position. So yeah, anyway, so now what's going to happen? So that is a requirement, and there's a few reasons, okay? One, the student needs to be able to access records of documentation of their sessions if they have to, because some of them are doing it on the recommendation of an advisor, right? So if they're told by their prof, even seek help, you need extra help in this course, well, they need proof that they're doing it, because, for example, what if they fail at the end of the semester and then they go to the prof and be like, I tried so hard, whatever, I needed the extra 2%, blah, blah, I even took the extra help, I was doing all this. Maybe they just test poorly, or they have, like a disability, or they struggle in a certain way and they're going through accessibility at that. Well, they need to know that there's records of the sessions that they're taking, right? So as far as an internal, an educational system, those records are important for documenting kind of what's going on. Now, in the past, they've asked, what did you talk about, and what topics were covered? That kind of stuff isn't going to be asked anymore, because we'll have the course code, all that kind of stuff will be in the system already. It'll be automated, but we will need to hear minor feedbacks as far as no issues happened in the session, both parties were on time, session was completed, and yada, 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 just the basics.
After the session's done.
Yeah, exactly. And so the way we're going to do that to automate it for you guys, instead of having to keep those records manually, is that the platform will send you a pop-up, not a pop-up, but it'll send you an email, a prompt basically, that's going to, at the end of the session, that we're calling feedback forms. For you guys, it's a session log. The student will receive a similar one, but with different requirements. That's going to be feedback information basically, and you just have to make a couple small comments. The rest of the information will be pre-populated, because the system will have been tracking it the whole time. So that'll be good, and then it'll allow you to keep track of all of your sessions. Everything will be documented, and it'll be like a 30-second form. You know what I mean? So very minimal requirement. You'll all take care of that. And then that'll be done. So every session you'll fill out your feedback basically. So your session log, and then every bi-weekly period, if you're doing athletes or you need to be paid on a bi-weekly schedule, the system will automatically produce a bi-weekly report for you. And that information can be viewed by us. So you won't have to submit, like you will, sorry, I should clarify because we're still working out some of the information and it may be changing, like I said, but we will already have access like to validate the hours that you did, whether it was with an athlete or anything that we need to pay you for basically. The TutorOcean platform will also pay you on their hours, and so they'll have the information to validate. There's one step right now that's manual, and it's because Laurentian's paying you, so you have to enter your hours into WebAdvisor, okay? So we have to set you up on that system, so if you are gonna do like tutoring for the athletes, then we'll set you up. But otherwise that step won't even matter, so everything will be taken care of on our end, okay? So that makes it a lot easier for you guys just overall. It kind of like alleviates some of the concern. Monthly reports are also a requirement. So every 4 sessions, okay, on average, doesn't really matter when they start, there's going to be a report that gets sent to me that I review. And it basically says, like, it kind of gives you, after 4 sessions, we assume that you've kind of had enough time now to evaluate the student on a little bit of a deeper level. So you can say, you know, student is often prepared, you know, student comes with like these questions, whatever, they've improved in these areas, and then points to improve on, like basically areas that they can continue to progress that you think need a little extra attention, okay? That form, that monthly report, I will review first. It kind of, there's going to be some things that you'll fill out, and then basically the student gets that feedback form because it's important for them to know how they're doing and like be able to kind of improve from that. Because the whole purpose of tutoring, right, is not for them to become dependent on you, but it's for them to build their strengths to be able to learn more independently on their own. So along those lines, in the policies, as you guys have kind of read them, and I'm rewording them now a little bit, but essentially we will allow the student to view those if they want to, so that they can kind of get the feedback. So that's where areas of improvement will come in really important. You know, like not recommendations, commendations, right? Is the word, okay. Yeah. So commendations will come in important, areas where they've been doing really well, the encouragement. So that will kind of come in important. So monthly they'll go to us, and then what will most likely happen is at the end of each term or semester, the student will get one of those, and they'll just basically acknowledge it, saying like, yes, you know, I agreed to all these sessions, yes, the feedback, whatever, and then give their feedback to us just so that we can make sure that the session was helpful to them, right? So yeah, so that'll probably happen once a semester, but the monthly reports will just come to us, but know in advance that the student will get to read the feedback, okay? But then it'll be reformatted in a way that's friendly to them, okay? And I'll filter everything that kind of comes through. So yeah, so that kind of helps with the requirements. It'll take the load off you guys a lot. When you do your comments at the end of every session, those will be reattached to the monthly folder. So you won't have to go through and like redo anything. The form will be auto-populated. All the information that you've already done from the sessions will be there. It'll be a small thing. So anytime you have to fill in a form, 30 seconds at most with your comments, okay? Like just a couple minutes to type something out and you're good. And hopefully that'll be accessible through your phone. If not, like a minute on a computer after that. I think we set it so you have 24 hours after the completion of the session to do it. So 5 minutes, if you do a few in a day, 5 minutes at the end of the day, just write your comments on the sessions.
If you find that you guys don't have enough time to fill those out, let us know, and we can ask TutorOcean to make that time limit a little bit longer. So if you want 48 hours instead of just 24, like if you find that with your own school workload, that's not enough time, let us know. And like I said, like Andrew was saying, they're really, really quick. Like I emailed them this afternoon to get us a demo, and within like 20 minutes, the email is back on a Sunday. So their attention to us is really, really good.
Oh, so we also have it set up that, okay, we'll get into this a little bit later for payments, but until you guys submit your feedback to us, because what happens if the student didn't show up, or what happens if any number of things could have happened, right? If there's extraneous circumstances, we have it set up so the payments won't come out of the student's account basically, because it's all automated until we get your feedback, okay? So if it's a no-show, you're still charged. You still get paid. That's just the way it is.
Within an hour before.
No, it's so the way the payment process works for the students, just so you guys know this, is kind of behind the scenes, but just so in case your students ask, the funds are held on their account 48 hours before your session, just to make sure they're there, so you get paid basically. And then, 48 hours before the session holds. I think they're allowed to cancel up to 24 hours ahead with a day's notice. Any more than 24 hours, the session fee applies, okay? And they should know that, unless there's like an emergency situation that happens and like they send you a message on the platform or whatever, which we can always go back and check. Oh, by the way, yeah, nothing on these platforms is private. It's to protect you guys, it's to protect us. Everything is monitored, so keep private conversations off of this, okay? And like, it's for your protection, it truly is. I'll tell a couple stories at the end, like personal testimonials about times of like, I was attacked by a couple students on areas and I had to get help. And it's very hard to support your story. It's just like he says, she says kind of thing, right? If you don't have any record of that.
And only the
So-
admins, which will be
Yeah.
3 of us, have access to see it.
Yeah, it's
So
very
myself-
vetted. It's very vetted. Don't get me wrong. Like no other tutors can see your conversations or any of your information. No other students can see your stuff. It's very private. But like if there's a conversation you had with a student or a student started attacking you or getting aggressive on thing, we can pull those. But it's only like very few of us that
Right
have
now,
access
there's
to
just
do that.
2 of us that are admin. Anthony's not an admin, so
Yeah.
has been a
Not
tutor yet. But again, just to kind of protect you guys and the student,
Yeah.
we have access to go back on those records.
Yeah. We'll talk about liability later on and kind of we'll cover why that's so important. So, but yeah, sorry. So just what I was saying is 40 hours before the session is held, and then basically you have to submit your report within 24 hours after the session. And once you do that, once we've confirmed everything went through okay, we don't expect there to be a lot of these cases where things aren't the way they should have been, right? But then then it'll be charged and everything will go through. So, okay. Tutor training modules. Want to talk about it? What are you talking about?
Well, you guys already did the tutor modules through D2L, so we'll be more diligent now, knowing that we have the platform accessible to our students to update that information so that tutors who are signing up know that they'll be using TutorOcean. So we're going to be responsible for updating that in the coming weeks, I would imagine.
Yeah.
Soon.
Yeah.
But you guys, since you've already completed it, you're good to go.
Yeah. We're not gonna.
Yeah, you wouldn't have to
redo
redo it.
No,
No, it's fine.
exactly.
Yeah.
A lot of the information is like the core values of the modules are going to stay the same. The things that are going to change are things that talk about like rules
TutorOcean
related
as a
to
platform.
TutorOcean as a platform. So we're going to put in actual like video tutorials on like how to set up your profile. You know what I mean? How to set up your payment methods, how to do those kinds of things. And like that training is going to go in, but you being here today obviously is going to give you most of that information. So you guys will be covered. We'll still send you the information and the updates in case you want to look at it, but I think you guys should be fine.
Yeah.
And anyone reviewing this will also kind of get the majority of that. And because most of you already set up your profiles as well, the updates will be mostly for new tutors coming in that haven't had access to this training yet. So that's where we'll kind of fill it in. And
that kind of touches on the orientation piece too. So as Anthony mentioned,
same thing.
we'll be making some screen record videos just so that students and tutors know how to create their account, know how to set up the payment, so that those, once they're published, they're almost done now. He had created already the screen recording, so Anthony will be responsible for dubbing the English version, I'll dub the French version, and then once those are published, they'll go up live, and if you guys want to see them, we'll share the links with you guys as well.
Okay.
But just to make sure that everyone's aware of how to create their account first and foremost.
Yep.
And then as we progress, we'll be making little mini clip videos about how to set up your sessions, and you know, every other little access point of the platform.
Cool. So again, to you guys that it doesn't really apply because you completed it for the most part. For future students, we're going to set it up so that when they go to apply to become a tutor through the TutorOcean profile, because you guys have to fill out the applications, right? And you guys have all like been previously vetted. But for new people, like new tutors that are applying, they will be basically automatically registered into the D12 program, and then they'll go through that, and it'll explain to them how to set up the information and whatever else is relevant, right? So, yeah, actually, and that's right, because by that point they would have already set up the profile. I think what we were going to do is talk to TutorOcean about putting a little tutorial video in the first screen too for just all students, just so the information will have to be made available. Yeah.
So we did kind of a demo already. We showed you guys that. Did you guys want to see the platform a little bit more? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Oh, sorry. So the tutor directory, the one online that we talked about earlier, that we like is hard to find, I guess, or whatever. Like we don't really know. I don't really know where it was. I don't think I ever knew where it was. But it's all gonna be on there now. When you fill out your profile, that information is for public use. So the directory will be searchable and it'll be accessible on TutorOcean. So any students that are looking for that from now on, direct them to TutorOcean. Any new students, like we're going to literally put an auto reply in the tutoring at Laurentian until it's well enough known that if you're looking for tutoring, you go to laurentian.tutorocean.com or whatever it was, okay? And then they can search you by course code, they can search you by name, they can search you by literally any criteria that you've entered in your profile, and you'll pop up, okay? So all that will be taken care of. The director will be live on TutorOcean from now on.
So you have your eraser here if you want to do any kind of scribbling. Want to remove it?
Yeah. We did mostly show you guys, I think, at this point, but you'll get time to play with it in your own demos, so it's not really important. It's up to you.
Can you guys show us how to change the availability? Because I didn't do it originally.
Yes.
I usually like to kind of play by.
That's the next step, actually.
Is it not letting you set it? Is that
Now
why?
I can't, yeah.
Really? Okay.
I'm like, I go to click on it and it pops up, but it like won't let me click on it.
Okay.
Yeah,
So
do
I don't know
you,
if it's me
do you
or-
want me to log into mine?
Yeah, maybe you
Tutor
log into
account?
your
I created it, I created availability when I did it, I'm sure we can edit it, so. Yeah, so that's part of the procedures actually that we, well, anyways, it's the next point on the slide, just how to schedule basically, how we do that through TutorOcean. So
Sorry, I
right
didn't mean to
now.
jump the gun. I thought you guys were just like.
No, that's
No, it's
good,
cool.
yeah,
It's all
ask
part
your
of it.
questions, we wanna know so we can answer them. Prevention.tutoration.com.
Oh, I thought it was gonna auto pop.
Yeah, so. what was
Yeah,
I gonna
maybe
say?
running through your account would be.
Yeah, I'll show you mine. I did a little thing. I did a 30-minute screen record of me setting up my tutor profile basically. I went through it, I did it, and I basically I took my time doing it, which is why it's 30 minutes. It probably doesn't need to be 30 minutes. I'll cut it down when I do my editing, and when I do the voiceover. But if you guys do want to take 30 minutes to watch that, just to make sure we didn't miss anything, because that is more detailed, I'll talk to you all about why it's important to set your availability, all kind of stuff. Primarily right now, because a student can't like request to have a session with you. So I think, has anyone received a request from a student on the platform yet?
No, I don't think so.
I sent a random request to one of the tutors.
Yeah, I think it was me.
Was it you?
I got some requests and
That was me. Did I? But I sent you a message too, and I said, "Hey, just testing the
Yeah.
platform."
Yeah, I saw
Okay,
that
cool. That
message,
was you.
yeah.
Okay, I wasn't sure. Yeah. Yes. So, literally, if you don't have availability set, the student can't request a time with you. Oh, that's not my password. Sorry, guys. 1 second. I can't multitask. Brain only works one thing at a time.
Oh yeah, the bottom right corner, the bottom left corner is right click. 'Cause I'm left-handed.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so if you like touch down here, it's basically right.
Weird. Okay. Okay. Let's
I'm
look at
French
that.
and left-handed. The world's working fast.
Okay, so let's look at this. Yes. So the thing that we were just on, the demo session we were showing you, we had Matt basically put that into my calendar for today for 2 hours, which is why we could access it. We'll get him to put that into all your calendars for 2 hours. You let us know when you're available, and this way you can just play with it and get it all figured out for yourselves. So yeah, so scheduling is going to be done all through the TutorOcean. The way it's set up right now, you have to have your availability posted for a student to request time for you, and they have to do it within your availability. Okay. If you don't have availability posted, the student can't request a session with you because you show no hours available, right?
And that was a feedback that I shared with pretty much everybody who created their account when I was looking to approve the tutoring profiles. That was the one piece there that I noticed. I think there was only a couple of students that set themselves availability in their calendars. So if your tutoring account has been approved, which it likely is, I don't think there's any requests sitting in there now. That was like the biggest point of feedback that I shared with the tutors was to make sure the availability is set. So going into Anthony's account, we'll see if we can.
you want to walk through it? Maybe we'll talk about it a little bit since we're
Yeah,
on it.
just see if you can set your own availability and check your calendar.
Yeah, okay. So the other thing is we're probably going to change that. I don't like that they can't request sessions if your availability is not there because sometimes we don't like you're not going to put every hour you're available, right?
Yeah.
Plus your sessions change day to day and like stuff happens. So I have a note to do that right now when we'll bring it up with the TutorOcean guys and it will be changed soon. So that the student can request a session, even if it's not in your availability, because you guys have the ultimate say. You can approve or decline a session request, right? So we'll make it so that they can apply for it no matter what. But at least if you have the sessions that you like students to be in, then like maybe if we do that, I'm just thinking now maybe those will be like auto approved, basically. If you set an availability, yeah. So
can we like look at your profile and just like message you
Mhm.
instead of like requesting a session right away?
yes, they can. So students can message you guys, and when they do that, you'll be able to reply. You cannot reach out to any students right away. So they have to basically consent to be like spam. It's just to avoid. I guess it's just a privacy issue. You know what I mean? Like they just want
But if you were to go
you reaching
here,
out. But yes, if a student can message you guys because you guys consent to that by becoming tutors, right? It's in the policies.
oh, whoops, wrong course code.
Yeah. Anyway, so you guys consent to that, so they can message you. And once they've done that, you can reply and you can talk with them the same way. It's all documented, which is good. We encourage you guys, like right now. Oh yeah, personal cell phone numbers are on there, right?
Well, that's one thing too. Like I responded to the tutors who have put their cell phone up there.
Yeah.
Just being aware that it's going to be public, so it'll basically be viewed in your profile. So I think you had removed yours, and there was a couple of students that did the same.
Yeah.
So let's say if you were to, just because you can't message yourself, which is why I made the search here. So let's say if we were to look at Elizabeth,
Do
you can go in here and then okay.
Yeah, do with. Perfect. Do you ever, no, wait, do with, oh God, what was your name again? Kira, sorry.
Yeah.
Do with Kira's
Okay, so
profile,
then,
she's sitting right in front of
good
it.
demonstration search. There you go. So your name will come up automatically. Find tutor. There she is.
Do you want us to look at your profile? Okay, cool. Awesome. Yeah, so any information you put on it is public. So if you put your phone number there, I did, but I'm the coordinator. So I felt like it was kind of, I wanted people to be able to get a hold of me, specifically more for you guys than it was for students. We'll see how that kind of goes. I put my cell phone number at the end of the slideshow too. We'll probably end up taking it down because I don't want to get spammed with, like, you know what I mean? I would probably recommend that you don't give your personal number out to everyone. I put it in just for the purpose of the demonstration. I wanted to fill out all the information, but I will probably remove that. That's just for you guys. If you have an emergency situation, sure, I don't want you guys having it, but yeah, literally, try to keep the conversations to the chat room on the website. Like, you'll get an email, like you won't miss a message. It'll email you if you haven't replied within a certain amount of time. So like you'll get notifications for that, and we're trying to make it more and more user friendly. Yeah, try to keep them online because at least we have record of it. You're protected that way. If you take it offline, you do it personally. Like, we haven't strictly stated that that's not allowed because that's the way it's been for years, and like I don't want to mess with that too much, especially if you have existing relationships with some of your students, like whatever, right? But
that's what I was gonna ask too. Is like, I have a lot of people that do tutor are people from like I met a couple years ago, and they're in my program, and they just kind of come back and I tutor them as the year
Right.
goes
Yeah.
on. So like, am I gonna have to go through this for all those people now?
so, okay, what do you say? Well, you have to go
Ideally,
through
yes.
this for what? For what part of it?
Like if his buddy comes and sees him in person, says like,
Yeah, like I have
Friday.
some that I consider friends and will like just come over when they have time to come over and send me some money. So like, do I like?
So
do I put
here's the
that
thing
stuff
with
through
that.
there since I got it from you guys originally like 2 years ago.
Yeah, so here's the thing with that, and we're gonna touch on it later too, but I'll address it now because it's a question. If you have an existing personal relationship with your students or friends or whatever, which I do too, like that's how half my sessions go. Like, I mean, it's people that I've taught in the past and they want me for another session or for another class later on, so they'll text me and do that. That is fine. Like, we're not gonna discourage that connection, especially
Like
with people
eventually
who've known
that's
for a
gonna
long
phase
while.
out.
Yeah, we're not gonna encourage that with new tutors coming in. We'd like to keep it all on the platform, you know what I mean? But even then, their friends that they know they tutor might still come to them, whatever. So there will be personal contact. So we're not saying don't do that, okay? But what we are saying now, and it's because that this is gonna be a firm statement in the policy, is that you guys are no longer to exchange cash in person. So you can't e-transfer anymore or do cash handouts because there's no record of it, and it opens Laurentian up to a lot of liability. It opens you guys up to a lot of liability, actually. So in doing this, so all the payments, so this is coming up, but I'll touch on it now because it's a pretty big change. You will be paid bi-weekly for all of your sessions over the course of that week because it's documented, and this way it's actually like recorded and registered. Because right now, you guys can't claim tax on the sessions. You guys, like, Laurentian can't track your income or earnings, and like that opens us up to, you know what I mean, liability. Like there's a lot of things that kind of just been flying on the radar for a long time that we can get in a lot of trouble for, and so we shouldn't be doing them. So it's going to be a firm statement at this point that we can't have our students, like our tutors and our students, exchanging money just between them in a way that we can't track. So all that has to go through, okay? If you're doing a session for free, then it's not a session, right? Like then it's not tutoring. Like if you're sitting there helping buddy out here, ask you a question, you're like, yeah, do this, whatever, and it's not paid, okay? Fine. I'm not condoning any outside actions. What you guys do on your own time is your own time, but any tutoring that you do for the university has to go through the portal now, okay? That's clear, you understand what I'm saying? Okay, so it'll be paid out bi-weekly. The way we have it set up at this point, there's not gonna be a cash box, so it's gonna be debit or credit online, basically. The portal set up to accept those payments. The Voyagers is a different program, you're paid by the university, so you could potentially be getting paid from two sources. We're trying to unify those either just to one solid paycheck from TutorOcean or one solid paycheck from Laurentian, but until that decision is made, you could potentially be getting two paychecks every 2 weeks, one from the university, one from TutorOcean. Yes, but and this is something we actually need your guys' feedback on, because right now we've opted to not make a cash box, even though it is the most common way that tutoring has been paid in the years, is because the sessions have been often person to person. But now since they have to be booked online, this session will be prepaid. Basically, they'll put their payment information in online, and so it'll just be on the Visa or on the debit. And like debit and Visa wasn't an option before. That's why it was always cash and e-transfer, because there wasn't a system for it. So we feel like because we're presenting the option now and because it's available online, payment will shift just over to the option that's provided. If you find that your students are like, well, I want to pay cash or I want to, do whatever, and that becomes a need, we can set that up. Like we have the procedures to set it up and we can do that, and that's not a problem, but it's an extra step that we don't think will 100% be necessary this time, okay? So in the upcoming months, this especially in this kind of key transition time, we're depending on you guys to really give us the feedback on, yeah, I get a lot of requests, like they want to pay cash, not debit or credit, or they want to do this, and then we'll set that up on our end. Okay.
And one thing too with the debit and credit, they can add more cards. So let's say if a student's Visa card is maxed out, they can get a Visa card from their parents. They can buy a prepaid Visa card.
Prepaid is not an option. It doesn't work on the platform.
They can do the debit, prepaid debit.
Matt said that prepaid won't work for whatever reason. Yeah, he said.
So what is the debit? What was debit on?
Debit, if you have a Visa debit, basically.
Oh,
Do you know how you
Visa,
can use your
yeah.
debit card for like Visa purchase online nowadays? They have the Visa thing. So you can
Okay.
use your debit card, assuming it's a debit Visa, or any credit card, basically. So any plastic you can use, not prepaid though. So
It's,
Yeah.
yeah.
Sorry, I was just curious, with regards to the payment, like, does it get paid towards the school fees, or do we have to input in like a bank information?
So yeah, we'll get to that, and I'm going to record a screen share tutorial for that, and like as well, and then it'll be something that goes into detail. But we'll talk with you guys today. And actually, I can show you because I haven't done it yet. I'm not going to live screen record it, but I'll actually just show you where it would go. You'll be paid either through PayPal or Stripe. It's a free account, really easy to set up. It's just a couple of little pieces of information. It's just to protect your personal information because PayPal and Stripe are very secure. They have a lot of security that way. Yes.
Do we get like a T4 thing at the end of the year now for this?
Your income, so there's a couple things with documentation, and I will touch on that. But I'll wait till I get there because there's more to it than just that. So yeah.
Okay, so let's finish this piece.
Where was I
here.
at? Hold on, I was halfway an answer. Yeah, so you're paid out through Stripe and PayPal every bi-weekly period, basically, or from the school. But like I said, we're trying to bring those together. So, and that again is for your protection because you can get into a lot of issues with that if students claim something. I was going to tell a story later. Maybe I'll tell it now. A couple years ago, I was approached by 3 individuals that like to do a lot of group sessions together, and they would like sometimes they bring cash, sometimes they get like one mass e-transfer from like one person for all 3 of them. Like really odd things happen over the course of the semester. At the end of the year, I did a big group session, and they brought like a bunch of their friends and whatever, and like they came in and like they paid for the session up front. I charged $20 per person, whatever, but I gave them like an afternoon. It was like 1 till 4. I booked a room in the library. I did a whole session for like Chem 1 or Physics 1 or something. And like the group of individuals, some of them stayed for the whole thing, some of them left, whatever. And it started to it became a problem. Essentially what happened was they left halfway through the session, and I was like, okay, well, email me, get in touch, whatever. If you guys need help later on, I can make additional time to do whatever. Didn't hear from them. They moved on. That was fine. Months later, I get a call from one of the girls being like, we need a refund for the session that you charged us because you overcharged us because we left halfway and whatever else. And I was like, that one happened a very long time ago. 2, it was pretty explicit in the instructions that I sent out to everyone that payment was $20 for the session. It was for the whole thing, and it was a flat rate. That's why, because you guys were getting a deal on 3 hours, so it was, or whatever the booking was. So that information was fine. She was like, no, we definitely want a refund for the money because, we left halfway and that's that, and we want the money back. And I was like, okay, well, I have no records because I texted everyone the information. All I had was the booking in the library. I couldn't prove that I collected payment or they didn't pay. I couldn't prove anything because none of it was tracked, right? All I had was their initials that they showed up, but none of the payments were tracked, right? So I had to go through the coordinator. I had to go through all these people and document every email they sent back and forth, everything that I had to go through them just so that they didn't come at me. You know what I mean? Because and it was it wasn't a huge sum, but the point is it happens. Unless you have protection, you're completely liable for that. You know what I mean? So it was a weird case. And that's actually happened twice to me. That time was over money. Another time was over a personal issue. A student made a claim that anyways, there was some mistreatment going on. And again, that's confidential, whatever. And I'm not giving out any personal information, but it does happen. Unless you have those records, this is part of the reason why we're so firmly implementing this system now, because we don't want you guys to get in trouble for it, and we have to protect ourselves as well, right? As a university, we put our names on you guys. When you join our directory, we're saying these tutors are vetted, they know their information, they've taken the courses, they're qualified to teach you, so the students are being guaranteed a certain quality of service, which is what they're looking for, right? That's why they come to the university, not just taking courses online through someone putting out content, right? They're coming to the university for a reason. They're paying for you guys know how expensive tuition can be, right? And all the textbooks and everything like that, they're paying good money, so they want to be guaranteed a certain quality of service. So we put our names on you guys. We give you the information for directory, and we'll get into it a little bit more, why, even though we're getting a little bit stricter, the benefits are gonna outweigh that kind of stuff, and that's like the last slide, so we'll touch on that more later. But it is extremely important for you guys to be protected, for us to be protected, and for the students to know we're getting certain quality of service here, so this is why they come to you guys. Okay, you're vetted. That's what differentiates you guys from anyone who's just like sticking bulletin boards in a flyer board outside the library, being like, I'll teach you in stats, tear off a phone number and come find me. You know what I mean? Like, and like, I don't know how well that works. I don't know if you guys have ever tried that. I've never tried it, but like, there's a difference, right? And we'll get more into that later. I don't want to dive too much in, but that, like, probably that in itself was the biggest reason we want to have this conversation, you guys, because that's one of the biggest changes that's happening. Okay, makes sense? Yes. Comments? Feedback? Thoughts?
Okay, so
Are we watching? What was
We're
his
gonna
name?
finish.
Tom online, by the way.
yeah, no,
Okay, cool.
so if you set up in person, you'd have an opportunity to put the location, so anywhere on campus if you want to. We were originally going to have like a drop-down menu of different buildings across campus, but then felt like it might be a little bit too difficult to then put a building and a room number, et cetera, et cetera. So you guys can type this in, or the student can type this in themselves. Estimated time, they're always going to be in 1 hour increments. So then you'd have that option there for 1 hour, and then students can basically set based on Kira's availability, which ones would prefer time they'd have. Then if you do it online, you wouldn't have the location available. So that's how students will essentially will do this library. That's how they would.
It's not open field right now. They're still changing that. Yeah, you can message each other too, right? You can just send a private message, like a message in the chat, being like, "Let's meet at this, whatever." It will be an open field. That's supposed to be an open field,
Okay.
but we'll message. I said my notes the other
Okay,
day.
so we'll do
So-
that. Now Kira will get that notification. There you go. Yeah, I saw your message there.
Awesome. So let's show them the change of scheduling. Am I logged in right now?
Yeah, you're
Is this
still
me?
on
Okay. Cool. So we'll go over to my profile, go to the
there.
dashboard.
Actually, you know what? That wouldn't work.
Okay, so we'll show you how to update the hours. We'll just scroll to the profile quickly. Oh, sorry, the profile, not dashboard.
What? Not available? I thought you were just kidding.
Yeah, I'm angry.
She
said she was gonna teach me and then she never did.
You're doing the right thing there.
Oh, sorry.
So I apologize.
Okay, so let's look at this. So I think a cover photo is attractive. Like, I don't know, I put something behind. It's a really generic Laurentian photo, but like, I just thought it's an eye catcher. Profile picture, take one. I think it would add to your profile to have your face there, you know what I mean? Just so like people can connect it to you, and then when they show up, they're also just not looking for someone, right? I'm the guy wearing the brown hat. Like, you know what I mean? Like, so put a profile picture in there. Really simple, like, caption statement or whatever, like, okay, yeah, like the headliner, keep it short. You know what I mean? Like, you don't want to say too much.
Things are creative.
Yeah, true, but I mean, like, just in general for people online, whatever. Yeah, your description, program, personal information, there it all is. Oops. Yeah. Okay. Do you want to touch on the race now, or wait till we get to that?
Well, we could wait for them.
Okay.
Just set your availability to
Yeah.
show them how to do that.
Okay, so your courses, subjects. Yeah, so let's see here. Okay, that's right. So I also ran into this little tricky feature, and we're gonna make it more obvious, because right now it's not overly obvious how to set this, but it should be. So you cannot book availability for any dates that are previous. So if I were to click on a date in the middle of September right now, nothing comes up. Okay, nothing will come up for a day that's past, because you can't set availability in the past. So you have to go to a day that's coming up. So for example, like you see today and tomorrow, October 1st, whatever. I just set Mondays, Tuesdays. It was arbitrary for me just because I was trying to demonstrate something. But let's say I want to put availability on what day, whatever. Okay. Wednesdays are busy for me. Okay, whatever. It doesn't matter. I'm just
Yeah,
doing
you
Wednesday.
can delete it.
I'll delete it later. So you click a day that's, wait for it. You click a day that's in the future. You see how the mouse changes when you go to the thing? Am I not clicking it right?
Now you have to right click.
No, it should just. Wait, yeah,
It's working.
it's working for you?
I was trying to do it on September 4th.
Yeah, yeah. If you're not doing it on a day, if you're doing a day in the past, it's not going to give you access. You have to do it on a day in the future or the present or whatever.
It doesn't work when you press on the number, you have to press on the actual,
Oh, the box? Okay, cool. Maybe that's what I'm doing. I thought it was a number for some reason. Weird. Okay, yeah. So anyways, this is my availability from like the previous session. You click on any of your green availability slots, you can view them. and you can like either set it as a repeating availability or a one-time availability, whatever you want. Yeah, sorry, there it is. Okay, awesome, thank you. Okay, yeah, so you click on the box of a day coming, you can add a time slot, set as unavailable, whatever, book out, do what you need to do, okay? There's also gonna be different types of sessions. You guys know, being previous tutors, you're new, but like this will come up. If you're doing a group session, right, like sometimes tutors choose to give discounts, right, which I used to do. If it was a couple people, whatever, then I'm not gonna charge them 20 bucks a person for that hour. I charge them like 15 or 10, depending on how many people it was, right? So there will be group session options, so you can that'll change. And then you can also do, what was it? Oh, open sessions will be a thing, okay? And that's because like there's a lot of events throughout the year, such as like LNAP that's coming up, like the Laurentian Against Procrastination, where we'll recruit a bunch of you guys, whoever's available basically, to come in and we pay you for that. So we'll set up an open session. So students don't have to pay to register for those. They can access free sessions, come in, appreciate the services, whatever, and then payment's separate, okay? So there's gonna be a couple different types. Details are still being refined, so I'll point those out to you as we kind of put them into the legislation, you know what I mean, so to speak, and you'll get the updates as we kind of go. But yeah, but that's like the basics of it for now. Okay. Okay, cool. So we already talked about feedback forms. You sending availability for me?
Yeah, I'm just trying to save it, so.
Oh yeah, sure. Just apply to October 9th. Yeah, see, so sorry, actually a little bit, it's here. You could do online only, you could do online and on campus, right? Like, let's say you're not in the school all day, but you could take sessions online. Throw the availability up, you never know what happens, right? People might appreciate that. Drop-in sessions means that the students won't be paid, it's a free session, okay? Usually, unless you're doing that, like you know, maybe one of the departments asked you, because we're doing some other stuff that I'll talk about later too. Let's say the department asked you, can you guys come in and do this and we'll pay you, like for a grad student, for example. The department might ask you, if you have a class, they'll say, can you do an extra tutorial? We have a lot of need in this class and you're being paid for it through the department, right? Because you have hours as a master's student, right? Yes, I'm correct? Okay, so the department might say, can you do a session? Well, throw it on TutorOcean. Let some people know that there's going to be a free session going on for this. The fees being pocketed by the department. You know what I mean? Just kind of get awareness out there so you get turnout. Not sitting alone for whatever time, if you know what I mean. So like, and that happened too. We've done tutoring sessions and had like 2 people show up and we had 4 tutors on staff that day, and you're like, oh, well, guess no one either knew or there wasn't a need. So that's what these functions are for. Okay. Okay.
So it still did not respond.
What? Okay, I think I get the point.
Yeah, let's continue.
Yeah. Okay, so I'm just gonna jump back to the slideshow. Actually, we've talked about most of the stuff now. We've kind of been going off script, but we've hit most of the points. Yeah, I got a question.
You brought up wages. Is there a way to like, because for my upper year courses, I want to charge $20, but then for my first and second year, I don't expect them to pay $20 because I'm not putting that much effort into it.
Okay.
But it's more gonna, I was gonna base it off of efforts. So is there a way I could change that? Do I just put the highest and then tell them that, yeah, if you're getting this course, you're going to charge this?
Yes, good question, and that we have that coming up as well.
Sorry, I heard you talk about it. So
Yeah, no, that's the thing, right? Like we expected to be an open discussion. This was supposed to be an informal thing. I kept the presentation so we didn't forget to tell you something, but like I want to hear the feedback, right? So yes, so there's another major change coming to that as well. Literally the financial side of it is the one thing that really had to be taken care of. So the change that's being implemented with the fees, okay? Because the student is paying online and we have all these varying, like some students are asking 25 bucks, some students are asking 15 bucks or 10 bucks, and like you have all these different ranges, right? And it's not great for a couple of reasons. One, like you don't want the student's decision and it to be based on that, especially if we get the right metrics from this and we start getting funding, the student may not end up being paid, the student may not end up paying for this out of pocket in the future anyways. We'd like to implement more programs so these services become available to our students and we're still covered, and you know, it just makes it easier for everyone. So changes will come, you know what I mean? We'll let you know as they do, but again, it's messy right now. The old system was messier. It's still in in transition, but we're making a pretty significant change to the fees basically that our tutors charge, okay? Because it's done on our side, and because there's also a session fee through the platform, which again, back end, don't worry about it, but we are implementing a hard flat rate, basically a session it's an hourly rate for all of our tutors, whatever, of $20 an hour, which we think is pretty fair. Okay, so that's what the student pays. Now, because you are Laurentian employees, $3 of that has to go to a couple things to cover. Okay, now it'll work like any Laurentian pay. Have you guys, like some of you, master students are on this system where they declare hours, right? And they're paid a certain rate, and that rate can increase whatever. Like anyone who's on an hourly, that's how it starts. So basically the way that it is for now, the starting thing will be flat rate, $20 for a session for a student, okay? They will pay that when they book the session. And then the tutors are paid $17 an hour, okay? And that's the starting rate, whatever. But because it's new, that's just gonna be implemented as it is right now kind of thing. And then that's the paycheck. And then basically my understanding is as we go through the next couple of months, because we're still also in beta, I guess, as you can tell, the platform is being like updated as it goes. When it's finalized, fees will change and we'll make those updates. And then we'll give you guys a feedback as well and we'll let you know. We'll start weighing in experience, right? So there will be different salaries assigned for those different things, whatever, because we don't want to say everyone's all the same. Usually there's a scaling that happens, right? So all that kind of stuff will come in, but it's going to be set uniform across the board now. Okay? That makes sense? Yes.
Does that change like how much we get paid for like the ones that are set for like the athletes? It was $15 an hour, even if like in your normal sessions you charge $20, you only got paid 15 per hour by the university. Is that changing?
That's in discussion. I don't have an answer for that one right now, okay? Because right now, like I said, the varsity program and the general student program have been two separate entities for the longest time. We're trying to put them on one platform, whether that's all Laurentian, like all paid out by Laurentian or all paid out by TutorOcean. Really, it's just where your paycheck's coming from. That's going to change. But when they come together, there may be a difference. We're not sure. We're still trying to figure that out, especially because it's also a budgeting issue, right? Like the varsity budget has certain requirements. So they can only pay $15 an hour for a tutor or whatever it is. They work that out because they have to cover a certain number of athletes, they have to cover a certain number of hours, whatever. So it's all budgeted. That's why it is what it is, right? At this time, the payments for your sessions is coming out of student pockets. So therefore the budget is different. If they're paying $20 for the session and then you have to account for certain fees, right? Which again, those fees, we're just implementing a flat $3 right now because like that covers everything. But then if that changes, we'll modify it accordingly. So just know that it'll change as soon as like, and even when we actually like finish the development, it'll change and then we'll also implement other things too. So ongoing. But yeah, we'll have to get back to you with that once the system's been fully unified. This way we know exactly what, you know what I mean, what the system will be on both ends.
And our manager's meeting with finance next week,
Yeah,
so
literally
we
this
should
week.
have an answer on that. Like,
Okay, so that stuff is happening like literally as we speak. I met with finance last week, which is where a lot of this information came from, and now our supervisor's speaking with them next week to really make the final decisions on a few things. Okay? Yeah.
So just to be clear, I haven't put in like an hour, like I haven't finished my tutor profile like submit yet because I had some questions. They've been mostly addressed. But for the, as of now, what should I put for an hourly rate? Like, should I put 20 or?
Just put 20 because then it won't change, right? Then
Yeah.
once the
it'll only go up from there.
Okay, right. So, yeah, I just figured I'd put 20 just to, as you suggested. So,
Yeah, because then from the student's perspective, it would remain the same because they're still only paying $20 flat for your session. Like your deductible at the end of the day will be what it'll be at $17 right now, and then we'll talk about like as we receive more information from that, like as the platform's fees change because those aren't set right now. We're talking November, I think, to make the final decisions on those. So once the platform fees are set, then we'll know where to adjust to, right? And then we can also start looking at more tutors' profiles and experience and then adjust accordingly, right? Because if you are in the varsity program, how long have you been doing varsity, out of curiosity?
I did it last year, like off and on with tutors, and then this year I have a real loose schedule, like every week for this semester, mostly.
So let's say 2 years last year, and then this is your first. So every semester, your pay goes up with varsity. Okay. So when I started doing it, I was doing F15 or whatever the base was. And then when I finished, I think I was doing almost 18. So they do account for that. So because the system is being uniform, like being like, there's a word I'm trying to think of, it's not coming right. Anyways, because it's being brought together in one system, likely your tutor paychecks will also work the same way, right? So it'll kind of switch over. And that'll depend on funding, and that'll depend on how that kind of changes over. But like I said, we'll have to keep you guys posted as close as we can. As we get more information, we'll let you guys know more information. And we're going to set up some pretty like stable lines of communication for you guys, so you know exactly where to get the information and how to get a hold of us and that kind of stuff. Okay, good. Okay, so yeah, we touched on the feedback forms and reporting. We talked about every session you'll get a little form. It's compiled at the end of every month and at the end of every semester. You have to make a couple comments, take you a minute per session, whatever. So that's all taken care of. We hit payroll, so we talked about that, how you guys are going to be paid. Documentation, so there's a couple little things here, like 30 seconds to mention. The student will have access to a history of every session they've taken with you guys, basically, or every session they paid for, whether it's with you or other tutors or whatever, so they can keep track of their payments, keep track of the sessions, and they have a printable like receipt, basically, they can use. On your end, you can print a income statement, I would say, like an unofficial income statement. So you can see the sessions that you've done per student. You can set up however you want. That's in the process of being added, and like basically what was charged and then your cut and all that kind of stuff. So there'll be an unofficial one, and then depending on how things go through next week with finance, we'll see the other what extra needs to be added to that. But that'll be your guys' flexibility as well. And you can set the bar however you want to. If you want to see what you made in 2 weeks, you can set that. It's a flexible scale. You can set it. You want to see what you did the whole semester, you can set it. All of it's going to be available. Okay. And then you have a question? You just wave your hand.
No, just.
Oh, sorry, her. Okay. Yeah, and yeah, that's it. On our end, we can, like, for us to be able to, so with the documentation side, on our side, we have to validate the hours that you work, basically. So if Laurentian's paying you for the varsity or for whatever else, previously you submitted hours and then there wasn't really, there was a way to validate it, but we weren't enforcing it. So now this is the way we validate it. Like I said before, the secretary who approves your hours to get paid by Laurentian, she'll have access to the reporting basically system, so she can go in and see the hours that you worked and confirm them on the session. Okay, so then it'll be, I think, hopefully the redundancy will be eliminated because she can see it. She should just technically be able to approve it for you, but you have to submit it yourself at this time. We're trying to get rid of that, so we'll get back to you on that one as well. But we're going with right now, and then we'll update you as it kind of changes. Okay, that was the meat of it. That was like pretty much the majority of what we wanted to say. The next couple of slides will be quick because it's just like this, the rest of it doesn't really apply to you. It's more just like background information. So I think we've kind of hit it. Where are we sitting for time? It's been an hour. Yeah. Okay. We're close. We're almost done, guys. Sorry, I know. And then it does come to be a lot once you like start looking. Yeah. Now we're pretty much at everything. Oh, sorry. I forgot that you're not looking at what I'm looking at. Yeah. So this is pretty straightforward. The large scale rollout is scheduled for, what are you doing? Where are you? In the back. Scroll up one. There you go. Okay. Yeah. So this one's student onboarding, basically just what the student sees. And a lot, as I mentioned, I'm gonna whip through it really quick. Large scale rollout's happening Monday. Okay, that's why I wanted to speak to you guys and get this information in your hands as soon as possible. So we're gonna start, students will be made aware of policies, that'll be added to their information. It's gonna be an ongoing thing. So when it becomes live, let's say, people will probably get notified of that.
And just like for that, we're talking with IT to have it in the D2L newsfeed that TutorOcean is now live at Laurentian. And then there'll be a banner in their My Laurentian account, as well as on the left-hand column. There's different options like lynda.com is on there as like administrative.
Advisor.
There will be a section now for Learning Commons where you can search for writing assistance as well as TutorOcean. And the, I always forget the name. Like the Learning Commons will be putting up academic workshops as well. So students will be able to navigate to TutorOcean in 3 different ways: through the My Laurentian, through D2L, and then just accessing it via email or by the website.
Yeah. Okay, cool. So talk about the video tutorials for you guys and for the student benefit. That's going to go up. We'll send you them as they become available. The tutor directory, all on TutorOcean now. So that's how students are going to find you guys. We said that. We talked about the scheduling. We actually took you through a pretty, live demonstration of that. So the students are going to do it the exact same way as we did there. Payment process. I told you guys that 40 hours before the funds are held, and then they're charged a week, 24 hours after session. And we'll have to set that up. So basically you'll be paid for like 2 weeks, probably, maybe just shifted because you get paid on probably the Friday will be payout. So there'll be a little bit of a delay, but like, let's say a couple days or whatever it is. Okay. We'll let you know what that is too, but yeah. So you'll have to set up a Stripe or a PayPal account. Are you still logged into my profile?
Yep, Sam.
Can you pull that up again? I'll show them really quick. Yeah. Feedback forms. So the student can also give feedback forms the same way that you guys do. Okay. Those are confidential to the student, so only we'll be able to see them. But keep in mind that your feedback forms will have like a component of it that's summarized at the end of the semester or whatever, so the student can get your notes basically. Okay. Yeah, sorry. I'm just gonna show you the payment profile or thing really quick. It's quite easy to set up. It gets added to your.
Just click on the black bar.
It gets added to your dashboard, I believe, once you become a tutor. Once you become approved, you get what's called this payment gateway. Okay, see that? So this is where you add your information. You need to either connect with the Stripe account or connect to the PayPal account. If you already have PayPal, you just enter your email address and it'll be done. Okay, so it's pretty straightforward. I'll make a little video. I'm sure you guys can figure it out yourselves. It's quite a simple walkthrough. Okay, if you have Stripe, then go ahead and do it that way. Either or. Okay, they're both free accounts. You're not paying anything for them. It just gives them a secure way to send funds to your bank account. Okay, because both of those will be hooked up to your bank account already. Okay, so yeah, that's it. That's the thing that changes. I think, yeah, there may be one other thing, but it's not as significant. So, all right, back to the slideshow. Okay. So yeah, we talked about feedback forms and we talked about documentation. We get that up too. So the students' documentation was just like receipts that they'll be able to request basically. Have you guys had to give receipts before? No? Okay. Some students, if they're coming through, for example, accessibility, their sessions are also covered, okay? Because they have, for whatever reason, they have like an extra need or whatever. Accessibility has a limited amount of funding they have to apply for on a yearly basis, or actually I think it's per semester. They apply for a certain amount of funding every semester for students that they've assessed and determined have a need, and their sessions are also paid for. They need a physical receipt from the tutor in order to be able to get those funds, okay? And they need to show proof of payment and proof of everything from that. So if you haven't had to do it yet, it does happen. It may not in your case. I still have a student this year that has to do that, and we keep records of all that. And so because this isn't live right now, we're doing manual records the same way I used to, you know what I mean, a couple years ago. But now those receipts will all be available to them online. So you won't have to worry about keeping those anymore, okay? For any of you who have or have not, or online or looking later. So yeah, okay, so that's why that's important. They need documentation of the payments they've made. Okay. All right, sliding on. What are we at now? Okay, so marketing outreach, got a question, Jacob? No? Okay. So marketing outreach, we touched on this a little bit. Actually, Jason mentioned mostly. So the platforms and channels we're going to be touching on. What's going on? Okay. I'll look through it. It was already mentioned. It's just platforms and channels. So Learning Commons, we were talking about. Oh, beautiful. Thanks. Yep. Beautiful. Okay. So platforms and channels, just like where things are coming from. It's like Jason was saying, it's going on my Laurentian. So those are all gonna be the banners, D2L, we mentioned that. It's going on all the social media platforms too. So there'll be ad campaigns set up for Facebook, Instagram, any of the university channels. Okay. So that's gonna go up hopefully by this week. We have marketers on it already. So just kind of where that comes up. Hub, bookstore, screen. So you see them on the screens like Starbucks, all those things, you know, where you get the little ads, it'll pop up there. Pretty much everywhere, really, that I can tell you. It's being done in like a large scale rollout at this point. That's what we're pushing for. And there's an internal referral system. So if a student, for example, is getting writing assistance and then they have another need, they'll refer them to the TutorOcean platform to get tutoring help and whatever else. Okay, we are like, for every sense, like every purpose of the word, we are like the flagship on this. We are demonstrating basically what the capabilities of the platform are, how successful it can be, or like won't be. We're going to find out, you know what I mean? Over the course of the next months, we're taking as much data as we can get on the functionality of the platform. So we're trying to get different people to kind of like come in on using it for different various reasons. But the more successful we can demonstrate that it is, the more uniform the system will be. And that's kind of our ultimate goal with this. So you're kind of under the microscope right now. Like not you personally, but like our performance with this platform as a team.
You and I.
Yeah, it's more us, but like we really need your support basically to help us along, you know what I mean? Because our performance depends on your guys' performance, really.
But like going forward too, if this is a success, we anticipate having writing assistants on here as well.
Yep.
So there'd be like writing assistants, tutors. So that there's a number of different ways we can utilize the platform. And as Anthony said, if this is a success, then we'll be buying into the program for a longer period of time.
Yeah.
Right now, as mentioned, it's a trial. Mm-hmm. So we have that opportunity to renew the contract with TutorOcean come mid-November. So the next 2 months will kind of be a trial period for us. If everything works well, then we'll be kind of securing that contract for, 1 or more years, whatever.
Yeah. Okay. Let's keep it up. Good. Okay. So this is more on the outreach side as far as departments, just like where we hope for it to go. We have an idea right now, the same way that you guys, or similar to the way that you guys created a tutor profile, a faculty created profile, so that they have like a physics department, whatever. This way, if they want to do a free session, an open session for whatever, or residence, you guys ever done the residence tutoring sessions? No? Okay. Residents occasionally will do an extra need or extra help sessions where they'll basically email the coordinator or the department. They'll ask for a couple of tutors in certain courses that they need. We refer them over, and residence pays them a couple, like for a night or whatever, and it's like I think I did one for 4.5 hours, something like that. And you go, there's a room set up for you with all the equipment you could possibly need. You go in there and then students come in and do ask questions. Sometimes they need 2, sometimes they need 4, whatever it is. So residence does that, and then residence pays for it. So they'll pay all the tutors' hours, okay? So stuff like that happens. So maybe we'll set up a page for res to go in and they can post when they have free sessions going on and students can get notifications. That kind of stuff is still in the works, but again, so that outreach is all there. So I think what I'm really getting at by just demonstrating to you the vastness of what this platform can become done properly, right, is that you have to agree to a couple extra terms. Like, don't take payments on the side. Like, don't, like, you have to accept that, like, yeah, if you were doing 20 hours before, like, now you're gonna be making 17 an hour until the system changes or whatever. Or for the people that are making, like, they're trying to charge like 25 or whatever, like, yeah, they're gonna take a cut for the short term. But it could mean way more hours. You know what I mean? So let's say you're only doing 2 students a week right now, or 3, like on average, like am I close in the ballpark, less than 5? Where's everyone sitting? Higher?
No,
1, okay.
I was doing a lot.
Okay. So see what I'm saying? It's hard. Like I consider myself to be like, it took me 4 years to build this, but I was doing like 10. So
That's my choice.
oh, okay. Okay. Fair enough. So yeah, so what we're basically saying though is that by organizing it this way, you'll have a lot more opportunity, let's say, okay? So more hours could be like, oh, I have an opportunity to do this in the weekend or on the evening or whatever. There's a special session going on that works into your hours. And you're like, yeah, I'll do it for an extra buck, whatever. You know what I mean? That day maybe.
And you can like literally do it from home. Like,
Yeah,
you don't even have to be
that's the
on
other thing. That's right, because you could do it from the platform, right? So there's a lot of extra opportunity here. So yeah, a little stricter, but I think in the long run, if you want to, because let's say you were really concerned about that extra $3-5, whatever it works out to be, you know, depending on the thing, it'll be compensated with the amount of exposure you get on the other side. You know what I mean? You really were sensitive about that extra whatever. Well, let's say you get 2 students with group session them. I do that all the time, like to keep my hours down, even though I have more students. I would just ask them if they were willing to pair them off, and then do it that way and like make that work. So it does like scale out, like, you know what I mean? And if you have concerns or whatever, talk to us. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, and just as like feedback, it's nice for people, like, I always charge $15 an hour because I knew that there would be like 3 or 4 other tutors for like Chem 1. They're obviously not gonna pick the $20 an hour tutor from their first year.
Yes.
So it's actually like a good thing from my point of view because I'm gonna end up getting paid more. So like,
Yeah.
I don't think it's a bad thing.
Yeah, no, and
For upper year classes, yeah. But
Yeah,
like,
and-
it's not as bad.
Good, that's awesome feedback. Yeah, and I figured that would be like, you know what I mean? It would balance. So that's some, I don't know. You're very emotional. Some people I see hand slides, so I don't miss anything. So it's okay. No worries. Okay. Are we good on that? People are comfortable with what we talked about? Okay. So yeah, that was the department's faculty service. We did that. Service accounts. Sorry, so that was like res, for example. The services, writing assistants, whatever, might create accounts. The internal referral system. So as much as like you get referrals from, like, say, writing assistants, they find that someone has a need, so they send them over to tutoring. We're trying to reach out to the departments now, so that if they have someone that keeps asking questions, you know those open office hours that have a line up out the door for certain classes that like profs can't answer everyone's questions because there's not enough time in the day. We'll start getting referrals from those. Is the idea? You know what I mean? When the need is there, we have the service. Come use it. You know what I mean? And if the demand gets high enough, like I said, maybe we'll get funding for it. Who knows? So
We also have access to a program the university has to track like a bunch of information, like they track recruitment numbers, et cetera, but they also track student success in the university. So we'll be sitting down with instructional design and seeking out courses that are like kind of at risk where there's a higher failure rate, and targeting those courses specifically and encouraging your students to get on the platform and seek tutoring. So when you're looking at like the amount of exposure that you'll get, we'll be now reaching out to faculty members specifically for these courses and letting them know to tell their students to seek tutoring. So I expect this to kind of grow a little bit larger, and especially for those of you who are like the first tutors on the platform now, you can expect to get a little bit more attention for that reason as well.
But flexible, right? You got the power. So hopefully it'll all be good changes. Oh, okay. So we talked about organizing open door sessions. Open door meaning just unpaid or paid for by someone else, not the student. Am I still on the same slide as you? No. Oh, sorry, back up one. We talked about recruitment, bringing in, if we have special needs, like those higher risk courses, bringing in tutors in those areas kind of thing to help fill whatever, or seeing if our existing tutor base first, of course, has the ability to fill those needs. And then events around campus and promotional events. So if there's like career fairs and stuff that happen
Yeah,
sometimes in
service
the
fair
atrium.
next week.
Yeah, service fair.
On Wednesday, so
Right.
we'll be promoting that there too.
Exactly. These things will be up there, and then like the other campus events. I think promotions I was thinking is like LNAP, for example. We'll definitely target something in LNAP for sure to get more exposure. And our goal is basically if we start running some major institutional events like LNAP, for example, which gets a lot of exposure every year, we start doing some portion of that on TutorOcean. It'll boost awareness like crazy and start getting students to the platform, so they at least are aware of it, and then that in turn will start turning over into participation essentially. So, okay. So the value, and I touched on all of this already. So the ease of access for the students, their ease of access. The fact that the platform is like on all the LU platforms and portals, like it's your LU login, it's the same CA as everything, and it's on campus. So the accountability, like I said, they have someone, if something goes wrong in the session, they have someone to come to. You know what I mean? So it's not like.
And you'll have our support on that.
Yeah, you have our backing, but also the students have the protection too, right? Which is the reason for them to come to us. So, and there's other things that are gonna be added to the policies that are like where to go if something happens, who to contact. First line of defense is us. Something happens in a session, whatever, you need some support, come to us right away, and then we'll refer you accordingly. But there's other services around campus as well that take care of that kind of thing too. Okay. Yeah, reliable reputation. They know that we vetted you guys. You've taken the courses, you're qualified, so they're not getting a Joe Blow trying to teach him something that maybe he doesn't know. And then dependable support from us. You got a team behind you guys ready to kind of like take action if we need it. Yeah, sorry, that's for the student, but also for you guys. So then the ease of access still applies. Training and support, we give you guys every tool you need. The credibility from vetting, extensive student database. So if you want the opportunity will be offered to you way more in this system than it ever was in the previous system where you guys were never really looped in. So yeah. Oops. Almost.
One thing too that I noticed when I was approving a lot of profiles, there's some students, just because we only send this information out to the tutors, so some of the tutors have been making accounts as students and not tutors. So maybe I should go, at the end I'll go through to make sure that you guys are all set up as tutors. Because I remember seeing like 24 students signed up with accounts and there was only like 12 or 13 tutors. So obviously students can make an account for both. So if you require tutoring for different courses, you can be set as students, but ideally for you guys being set up as tutors so students can actually seek your services.
And you can request to become a tutor. So you apply to become a tutor through the regular portal. Right now, like Jason was saying, you can click, I want to be a tutor, I want to be a student, like right off the hop. That's going to change. It's just going to be a general profile first, and then from the general profile, you apply to become a tutor just to eliminate the confusion and some of that. You'll have the same privileges from the general profile as everyone else, and you'll have the extra privileges of the tutor once you've complete that process, and that'll be the way it goes. Yeah, and then you get the backing of professional marketing, the liability that we talked about, you're covered now, so we'll take care of anything if anything ever happens. And for us, as you were saying, sorry about conclusions now, but we get metrics. We get to know exactly how many sessions there are, so we get to keep track of all that kind of stuff and like make everything more available. All right, that's it. You made it through the whole presentation. An hour and 20 minutes. That's not terrible. Hour 20 minutes is pretty good. So yeah, if you need anything, this is our contact information. Okay, where to find us, where to get support. My office is in F528, so 5th floor of the Fraser, but I'm not always there. Sometimes I'm at Snow Lab. So this is if you want to see me in person, send me an email. My email address and my phone number is there. If you do get a hold of me, text me or whatever. Okay, and I'll make myself available. But I won't often be in the office. I'm around quite a bit. So okay. Jason, on the other hand, he has a stable office. He's in the office all the time, so he's got drop-ins from 9 to 4:30. He's got a desk in the
area code 705 for the university number.
Oh, how did we mess that up? Okay, weird. I'll change that before I send it out to you guys. Yeah, but his email address as well, and his office is P210, so that's the international student office. You know, the one, like if you go to second floor of the Parker building, there's the glass with the picture of the world on it, whatever, the international office, his office is in there. So you can drop by anytime, and if you need anything, ask a question or whatever.
Thanks a lot for Thomas for tuning in online with the Zoom session there.
Thank you,
So
Thomas.
I'm going to go ahead and end the session. It'll record on my computer, so I will be able to make some edits and share it on the platform there too. So thanks, Thomas, for participating. Appreciate that.
Do you ask him any questions before he tunes out?
No, he didn't have any.
Okay, awesome.
Say we did a good job.
Sweet. Thanks, Thomas.